So you've had enough of the avoidant shenanigans and you've gone no contact. How do they respond to this? Hi, I'm Amy, and welcome to my channel. I'm a certified attachment style coach, and I help anxious attachers break the cycle of avoidant and emotionally unavailable partners so that they can thrive in their independence and prevent future heartbreak. And in this video, I'm going to talk about how avoidant attachment styles react to no contact. But if you're interested in what your attachment style is, I do have a free attachment style quiz. The link is in my bio. But let's get into it. If you followed me for a while on this channel, you will know that I was in an on and off again relationship with a dismissive avoidant for 7 years, and I am well versed in no contact. I went through this a lot. So if it is that you're sitting there feeling incredibly anxious, you feel like you've been discarded, you feel like you've been ignored, that you're not worthy of this person, I completely understand that. There will come a time when you have absolutely had enough of this person's coping strategies when it comes to relationships. And maybe you're the one that's ended this relationship because you're sick of it. And why wouldn't you be? If you've been in a relationship with an avoidant or an emotionally unavailable partner, you've probably had months, years of not having your needs met, not being listened to, feeling ignored, feeling like 1 minute you're the best thing ever, and then the next day you don't exist. It's a roller coaster. So no wonder no contact is hard with this person, because you have been conditioned to always be the one that sorts things out. And I bet you've sat there wondering, what do I text this person to get this resolved? What do I do to get this person in touch with me? But I want you to leave the phone alone for now and go no contact with this person. If this person is ignoring you, they're not going to get access to you from now on. Or maybe you've already gone no contact and you're just wondering what it is that they're thinking and feeling. And I asked my ex-partner this several times when he'd come back, how he was actually feeling during no contact. I've also dealt with clients that are avoidant and spoken to them about no contact and how they were feeling. So this is really just an insight for you so that you're not drawing the wrong conclusion of what's going on. And I really don't want anybody to be beating themselves up even more than they are now, or thinking the worst case scenario. So let's say, for example, you've had an argument, that person, the avoidance ended the relationship, and now you're in no contact. So for the first few days, they're going to feel relief, and this can go on for quite a long time. So if it is that you're in the Get Your Ex Back community and they tell you to go 30 days no contact, I want you to know that with avoidance, this doesn't work, because 30 days isn't long enough. Anywhere between 6 weeks and 6 months is when they start feeling the pressure for this. And this checks out with what my experience has been and what clients' experience has been. So you need to be in this for the long haul. But what I also want to make sure is that you're using no contact for the right reasons. I don't want you to use no contact to try and manipulate or use it as leverage to try and get this person back. So initially, the avoidant is going to feel relief. They're going to feel like the pressure's off. They don't have to be vulnerable anymore. They don't have to have conflict anymore. There doesn't need to be any intimacy. They're in control again. They're in their creature comforts, and everything is fine and dandy, which I know is really unsatisfying when you're sat there feeling your feelings, feeling like rubbish, feeling unworthy, feeling abandoned. To hear that this person's okay isn't what you want to hear, and I understand that, but this is temporary. They're not going to feel like this forever, because sooner or later they're going to notice that you're not in touch. They're going to notice that you're not chasing them or trying to sort things out like you normally would. In other words, you're not doing what that person is expecting of you. Now, what I've also noticed is a couple of things can happen here. One of the things that can possibly happen is that because avoidants see relationships as a power struggle, and because they are quite stubborn, they may well dig their heels in and think, well, I'm not texting that person first, they can text me. Or the second thing that happens is they get curious. They want to know what's going on. And one of the situations that I did speak to my ex about was years ago, where there had been an argument. We had split up. I went no contact. How I did it, I don't know, because I was in such a mess but I knew I was not going to text this person, and I didn't. And it took about, I would say, 6 or 7 weeks for them to get back in touch. And it was out of curiosity. They wanted to know what I was up to. They wanted to know whether I was still single. And unfortunately, I took the bait and ended up in exactly the same cycle that had happened before. And what I've also learned from trainings and from speaking to other clients and my ex-partner was that avoidants don't deal with breakups very well. Possibly out of all the attachment styles, deal with relationship breakups the worst. They're more likely to fall into depressive episodes. And this is mainly down to them not being able to process or even access their own feelings on the matter. So they just suppress it, but it has to come up in some way. Whereas anxious attachers and fearful avoidants and secure attachers do feel their feelings and can process them, which makes it easier for them to move on from a relationship. So sooner or later, the avoidant is going to become curious, regardless of whether they're feeling stubborn or not. They will start to think about you. They'll start to think about the good times. They'll start to think about how you met their needs. They'll start to think about how safe it was with you, even if they have been in another relationship. And that's happened to me twice, but they still got in touch. So if you're sitting there worried that maybe your avoidant moved on too fast, it's because they're distracting. It isn't because they are actually moving on. It's not because they've processed the breakup super quick. It's not because you didn't matter. It's because that they don't want to process it. And if it is that you're really struggling with no contact, I've helped lots of clients the world over with this same problem. I've created a blueprint of the exact steps I took to move from anxious attached to secure attached, and I do offer one-to-one coaching. The link for that is in my bio. So if you can stand firm with no contact, but the caveat here is that you're not going to sit there waiting for their text. You're going to actually start working on yourself. You're going to start working on your own attachment style. You're going to start working through those beliefs that you have that make you think that this behavior is acceptable. You're going to work through those core wounds of abandonment. You're going to start living your own life for you. You are going to start fulfilling your own needs. You're going to start identifying what boundaries you have going forward. So that if and when this person does come back, and if it was a significant relationship, that is highly likely that they will, when this person comes back, you're going to be in a much better position to be able to vet them. Have they done any healing, or have they just suppressed everything and hoping that everything's okay? Now, I just want to mention that when avoidants come back, it isn't because they've changed. It's because they miss the familiarity of the relationship. And the timing that they do it is when they think that you've moved on. They don't want to get into another conflict with you. They don't want to feel rejected by you, so they'll wait until they think everything's blown over. So if you're asking, should I contact them? That is entirely your decision, whether you want to. But if you do, and you've done no healing, expect to get back into the same cycle again. And if that's what you want, then I would absolutely consider why you think that this is the best you're going to get, because I can tell you that there are relationships out there that are not like this one. There are relationships where people can have a difficult conversation with you without stonewalling you and without walking away. So I hope you found that video helpful. If you did, drop a comment below. I do have a 6-week self-study course coming available soon. If you want to keep updated with that, subscribe to this channel, but I will see you in the next video.